Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with Angela Hiley in the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast.
You just had to move the microphone a little bit closer to you, huh?
And we are getting near one of my most favorite holidays.
Oh, really?
When I get most in the Christmas cheer. And I want to say this year it all comes from the Dent Trainer giveaway that's going down. What you think about that?
You didn't even introduce me.
I said it right at the beginning.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You pulled the microphone closer to you, and you didn't even introduce me.
You're going to go back and listen to this later, and you're going to see that I said John and Angela Hiley with the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. I might have to introduce you with a backhand on that ass.
You sound kind of like a robot.
You
weren't flowing very well.
Okay, well, good. That's a good way to flow into the podcast, okay? Because that's some of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a few things. I mean, we get the holidays coming up. I got to visit some super boring family members and be bored for like 2 hours straight. And I'm sure you guys are going to have to go visit people and just be bored out of your mind for hours upon hours. And
stop.
If you are a creative mind and you listen to this podcast, probably are
positive.
Yeah, but I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to be thinking about when I'm there.
All I know is probably one of the main reasons why I didn't have a podcast last week was because there was a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, we had to go down to Cleveland to Angela's mom and visit her. She was in the hospital again, so.
My mom most of you guys probably already know, but my mom has had one of the worst cases of scoliosis that these doctors have ever seen.
Yeah, some of the best doctors in the world too, Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah, and this is going on 3 years. So this was her third surgery. So she had a surgery. It was supposed to be the third and final surgery. It was Monday, December the 9th. So she had that one, and then after that one was done, they had to do some x-rays, and something didn't come back right, so they had to go in and do an emergency surgery on Tuesday. And then next thing you know, a week goes by and she's still up there in the hospital, and they had to go in and do another emergency surgery, right?
Yeah.
So she had 3 of them, right?
She had 3 surgeries during that time.
Within a week.
Now here's one of the things, guys. My goal when I get there is try to make her laugh,
Yeah.
So because that's kind of what I do with her. I just kind of I'm always the kind of person that everything I say, I try to get her to laugh, try to get her in better spirits and all that kind of stuff. And one of the hilarious things is I heard that on her third surgery they had to bring in a plastic surgeon to do some things on where they had to do the emergency surgery and all this kind of stuff.
On her neck. They wanted to make sure that she wasn't. They would just wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to be really scarred up really bad.
Yeah, so the first thing I asked her is how come she didn't ask a plastic surgeon to bolt some knockers on her while she was under there. Or give her a Brazilian butt lift.
No, she said she didn't want the butt lift, but she said she would have took the knockers.
She would have took the bolt-ons?
Yeah, she would have took those.
Well, you got that one guy in your family that just says what everybody's thinking,
That is true. She's doing better.
I was intending on testing something this year. I recently read in a book. I can't even remember which book this is. I read or listen to so many books in a given month that I don't remember which one this came from. But in the book, the premise behind it said that people are naturally going to be negative, like family, friends, things like that. And they kind of hide it in basically them trying to protect you from danger. That's how they hide their negativity, right? And
is that what they're really trying to do, or no?
Who knows? It may be a cocktail of different emotions people have. You got the crab in the bucket theory that nobody, if you got to put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and when one crab tries to get out, the other one tries to climb on its back and pulls it down, and it just a vicious cycle where no crab ever gets out of a bucket. So if you got a crab, throw two of them in a bucket, they'll never get out.
Yeah.
But that being said, the experiment was to go to some family members and ask them what they thought about opening, to go tell them that I'm thinking about opening up a restaurant. What's your thoughts about that? And in the book, it says, some of you guys should test this out and see what you guys come up with, and let me know what your family members or friends or whatever say. But in the book, it basically says that everybody knows this loose statistic that 90% of restaurants fail. And the normal response for the people around you is to tell you that statistic. Is to say, well, 90% of restaurants fail.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, because I have no intention to open up a restaurant. I mean, I don't even give, that'd be, in my opinion, probably, I've worked in restaurants, and it'd probably be my worst nightmare to actually open one because I'm not into it,
Yeah, but you're going to say this shit, though.
But I want to say it just to hear their response, to see if it triggers that negativity.
They're going to be like,
Or if they say something like, well, I've known people that are definitely dumber than you that have opened up restaurants and they've succeeded, so you got a good chance.
I just don't know if my dad would really say that, because he has seen our journey, our journey, and I just don't think he would really say that, though. I don't
know. That might be an interesting experiment.
I can see my brother maybe saying it.
Potentially your brother saying that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, it'd be interesting. We'll see.
My mom would have definitely said that.
Oh, of course she would have said that.
Yeah, my mom would have 100% would have said that.
She wouldn't have gave two shits. She just would
have. My mom was the one that warned me out of every negative situation. You could literally tell her that, hey, Mom, I just played the lottery. I hope I win. And she would say something to the nature, well, then you'd have to hide your kids because people would be trying to kidnap them.
Yeah.
Verbatim, I mean. So it became I think some of my brothers and sisters actually took that shit seriously. Eventually, it became a little game for me to try to get her fired up and see how long I could make it last and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you really to definitely... Yeah, you were probably the only one that could really ever...
Get her going. Yeah. And I never took it to heart.
No.
I think that's the key. People that trigger you, and we actually Angela just finished reading a book, and I kind of listened to the last half of it with her.
No, actually, I think you listened to more than half of it.
It was a good book, but the funny thing was, the interesting thing about the book, she's getting all these mindful revelations about this book, and I'm sitting here just agreeing because I already do everything that the book's telling you to do.
Yeah, it's called. Let me see here. So it was called The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck by Sarah Knight.
Yeah.
And I'm reading her next one, which is Get Your Shit Together.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
So basically the premise of the book is that you only have so many fucks to give, and you should choose which fucks you're going to give, but you should also look a little bit deeper into them fucks. Yeah. Are you giving fucks on things that you can't control? Because if you're giving fucks on things you can't control, then you're wasting a fuck.
Yeah.
And usually that can be things like, oh, does certain people, groups of people like me, just things that are out of your control to give a fuck about. How about instead of giving a fuck about whether certain people like you, how about you give a fuck about being the best version of yourself?
Yeah.
Because naturally like is going to attract like. So if you become the best version of yourself, you're going to attract other people that have them same significant qualities. Yeah. And who gives a fuck about the rest of people? I want to say you guys listen to this podcast for a reason. You've been along with us in this mission for a reason. And I want to say it's you guys are on a journey that I've been on my entire life, and that we've been on our entire life.
Yeah.
And that's just regularly just becoming a better version of yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, inherently, people realize that the moment you're born, you start dying eventually.
Yeah. What was that thing that you said the other day?
And that's what I was getting ready to tell you. And by nature, you're decaying. By nature, we're sitting here, we're decaying, right? Yeah. And we inherently know this inside of us. So if you're not on a daily growth mission to become a bigger, better version of yourself, that feeling inside of pain, of you don't know what's going on with life, the feeling that you're not getting anywhere or going nowhere, is the feeling of death. And if you even go a little bit deeper and you look into religions and biblical stuff, they talk about sin being that of death, and then also sin being turning away from yourself, meaning that you weren't listening to the small voice inside of your head that was propelling you to go forward. It was telling you, get up and fucking do something. It was telling you, that little voice inside your head was telling you, no, don't do that. You're not going to like that. You're not going to be happy with that. Do something you like. Do something you're happy with. An entire life of not listening to the voice inside your head, which is basically you understanding or being super self-aware of the way you feel inside about things, opposed to the way other people feel about the way your life looks to them. All right? Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy how the deeper that I dig into this topic, and I'm always listening to books or reading books about it, but the deeper that I dig into this topic, it gets to the point to where at the deepest level, it's about becoming so self-aware that you literally understand energy more than you understand just about anything. I mean, because even when, like, for instance, when I had my business coach come in, and he's no doubt he's a multimillionaire, and he probably lives one of the most relaxed lifestyles that I've ever known of anybody who's a multimillionaire and who runs 12 businesses simultaneously.
Super nice
he
guy.
lets zero stress in his life. Zero stress in his life. I mean, that's his goal. And one of the things that we talked about was basically when he did something, he paid a little bit more attention to the energy. Did it add energy? Did it fuel to his life? Or did he feel like it was sucking it out and taking it away?
Yeah.
And I want to say that little voice inside your head that we're talking about listening to, and we're talking about guiding your life, whatever people want to call it, conscience, the angel on one shoulder. You got the angel on one shoulder that's telling you, do it, go for your dreams, go for your goals. And then you got the devil on the other shoulder that's telling you, oh, that's scary. What will people think about you? Who are you to do this? Who are you to do that? But the angel over here is going, man, just do it. Who cares what people think? Be yourself. Be who you were meant to be. And the devil's sitting here going on the other shoulder going, no, but look, your mom will hate you. People think, people talk bad about you. If you open up this business, people might make fun of you, and da-da-da-da-da, and on and on and on. So you typically got a choice to fall into one or the other of the voice on a moment-to-moment, day-by-day basis. Mm-hmm. And when you actually fall into the voice that's propelling you forward without that fear, you're actually in a mode of growth. And you stop feeling that pain of what we want to say natural death, decay, or even if you want to go deeper, you're talking about sin is death. And that's what they meant by that.
Oh, when you say decay, all I think about is that toenail.
Oh, my fucked up toenail. I don't know how you went full circle to that, but yeah.
I don't know, because you say decay, and like that, your toenail, like it needed to come off, and it just got like really sticky, and I was just like, oh.
Well, one of the things that we talked about recently was that Maslow's hierarchy of common needs, or of human needs. And one of the things that I think a lot of people get stuck on that hierarchy is that level right before that complete self-transformation, and that's when you're out seeking validation from the world. Mm-hmm. Opposed to going deep inside yourself and creating a concrete validation, building a soul that's based on concrete character within.
I was so there last year about this whole like validation thing, like seeking some type of approval, and like now I was just like, why?
Well, it's interesting. We all fall into that trap.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We all fall into that trap, but I think the key of staying out of that trap is what we're doing right now and talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how quickly we are as human beings to forget the most important things in our life. Mm-hmm. Because this type of spirit that like I currently feel within, the one that I'm trying to add like so much value to the world that just like here's what I believe, okay? The people that are out there adding all of that negative shit, and the people that thrive off of all that negative shit that I'm even guilty of being a part of, if they, in a deep down way, actually knew 100% for a fact, in which I'm telling you guys 100% for a fact, And I'm going to tell you why I know this here in a minute, okay? But 100% for a fact, that shit is like a fucking boomerang. If you push that negative bullshit out into the world and your intentions behind it are that of there's a gut feeling when it happens.
Yeah.
There's a gut feeling. There's chemicals that go through your body that immediately you start feeling the pain when you push that negative bullshit out into the world.
Yeah.
You're absorbing some sort of pain, okay, that you're feeling. The pain is caused by some sort of fear. And at that moment that pain happens, we're all going to deal with that pain. We're all going to look at something that's going to bother the fuck out of us, right? Mm-hmm. But immediately you got that moment again where that devil's on the one shoulder and the angel's on the other shoulder. And the devil on the one shoulder is saying, well, these people are trying to take something away from you. This is scary. You know, we don't like this. Let's go out there. Let's tell them how it is. Let's do what we got to do, right? But the angel on your shoulder is going, why are you so living in such a mindset of scarcity? Do you not believe there's enough for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And you've got a choice to fall into one or the other. And the more that you fall into that flow or that that abundance mindset, the more value and the more light that you're going to shed on the world, you're going to add to people. People are going to see that. People are going to feel that. And that's going to come back to you. More often that you actually fall into that other mindset where it's scarcity. And they can paint it under any fucking picture they want to paint it. As I have in the past. It's fucking fear. At the deepest part of it, when somebody is out there pushing negative shit into the world, they're fucking scared of something.
Yeah.
They can say, well, I'm not scared, I'm calling these people. No, you're fucking scared of something. There's fear there. And I know because I lived it and I felt it. And the bottom line is, when you boomerang that shit into the world, you fucking eat it, you live it, you sleep it. Every moment of your life becomes surrounded with that energy. It comes back at a magnitude that's higher than you threw it out into the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? You begin, and not to mention, you begin attracting the exact same type of people. So you start surrounding yourself with that fucking shithole energy. It's the same thing. Her father, Angela's father, told me something a long time ago, the difference between heaven and hell. And I'm not even going religious on this podcast, guys. I mean, I'm not going religious, but this is a great fucking point to understand. The difference between heaven and hell is literally all these people sitting at this table with a ton of food, just food everywhere. If you could imagine just turkey, I mean, you could imagine just some of the best Thanksgiving food you could possibly,
big old feast.
Sitting there with, macaroni and cheese, even fucking Popeye's chicken. There's Popeye's. Somebody was fucking smart enough like me to bring Popeye's chicken to the damn event, right? But that table is sitting there, and everybody at that table has giant utensils, okay? And in hell, they're all looking at each other and they're pissed off because they can't use the giant utensils to feed themselves. They're just too big. You can't even use them. But in heaven, they're all feeding each other.
Yeah.
And, I'm giving somebody a piece of Popeye's chicken, right? That's the difference between the two forms of energy that you're stepping into on a daily fucking basis. And I'm telling you, if you think you're going to be losing something by stepping into that realm where, oh, well, my competitor's out there doing this, doing that, fucking bullshit. Every time you step into that mindset, you're pulling yourself into the exact type of negativity. You're pulling yourself down. You're bringing yourself down low. And on top of that, you're pulling yourself out of the creative spirit that's needed to propel past them. You see? And on top of that, if you're ever worried about your competition copying you and stuff like that, I'm here to tell you what, you're not doing enough. Because if you were doing enough, you would be 6 months ahead. By the time your competition copies you, they're your exhaust. They're your fucking exhaust. They're behind you. Because you're 6 months ahead. You're doing shit 6 months ahead. When you become the right type of business owner, you're actually thinking so far ahead, and you're aligning your goals with these missions that are propelling yourself forward. But you're thinking so deep into the next moves that you're making. Like, I'm literally, like, right now, I am thinking like 7 to 8 moves down the board. And I know what piece I need to move when I get to what specific level.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to copy me right now at this move down the board, they're already in my exhaust because they can't see what I've already got planned for the future or the map that I've drawn out or where I'm going.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for you guys. Okay? So, if you let them be a cheap copy of you. But being a good business owner is taking that thing that's inside of you, which is telling you to do the shit that you know you need to do. I find so many people out there know exactly what they need to do, but refuse to actually do it. Or, and I've had to call some people out about this. I'll give you an example. I'm working with a gentleman here, and I love him to death, and I actually hope he listens to this because he'll understand what I meant. And he's part of my mastermind group, and I'm trying to encourage him to develop a franchise. And he hit me up just recently, and he says, "How do I do it?" And you want to know what my response to that was? And this is a little bit of tough love, and it's what people actually need to hear. My response to that was that there's, like, literally, you can go to Google and you can go to NASA's website and figure out how to build a fucking rocket ship. I told him to go to Google and Google it. And then do it.
Yeah.
Because
you shouldn't be there holding his hand.
We put these bullshit excuses in front of us that says, I don't know how to do it. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. We're at a day and age where everything is at the end of your fingertips. If that's your fucking excuse, welcome to Mediocreville. And guess what? When people surround me in a circle, like some guys that are in my mastermind, they're not in fucking Mediocreville anymore. We step out of that the moment that you walked in the room with me. Okay? So I don't play that shit, and I demand that people propel themselves forward towards their dreams and towards their goals, because I put myself in a position where I set people up around me that demand the same thing out of me.
Yes. And I demand that out of you.
Right? That's the way it is, my brothers and sisters. You need to get with the right people. Iron sharpens iron, my friends. And a good friend isn't just going to look at you and tell you what you want to hear. A good friend is going to look at you and call you on your bullshit occasionally.
Yeah, that's true.
I like to call it gentle love. A little gentle, tough love, or tough, gentle love, or something like that.
Yeah, I've definitely gave that to you.
It's in a loving spirit, but it's gently saying, stop fucking bullshitting yourself and get to work.
Yeah, get your shit together.
I've
been after John for a long time. And now I feel like John's at this moment.
We can't tell you everything, though. We can't tell you everything.
That he's like doing these things that I've been wanting him to do for probably about a year and a half now.
Yeah, so, here's the thing, guys. I mean, from the outside looking in, anybody would look at some of the things that I've done, and you would think that I'm just working around the clock, just like crazy all the time, 24/7, right? And, the thing about it is, from the outside looking in, I felt that I am not even getting close to even doing enough. That's one of the things you got to realize when you step into being an entrepreneur. One of the things some of my mentors have taught me, that we're going to be the hardest. Like, from the outside looking in, I could do something in one day that would look superhuman. But if I didn't get everything I wanted accomplished, that is usually more than what's possible, then I'm going to not really feel good about the day.
Yeah.
So I've actually had to learn how to take a step back and understand that I had to start consuming things on more bite-sized levels. So, developing a long-term strategy, a plan, and then breaking it down like a quarterly. What do I got to achieve quarterly? What are my 3 big things quarterly? And then taking that quarterly breakdown and breaking down, what do I got to do daily to get towards that? Mm-hmm. And one of the things I talked about in the podcast before, one of the big believers in the things that we do inside of our mastermind group is the most important task. Meaning that you should be able to define one task that could be, let's just say only as long as 25 minutes. You set a timer on your phone for 25 minutes, and this one task, if you get it done that day, you're going to feel accomplished for the day. Mm-hmm. Which is hard for me, because even I could get some of the most important tasks done, and I don't know if I 100% feel accomplished if I only did one task. But I try to find that.
Yeah.
I try really hard to find that. And I want to say in a lot of people's lives, of course, I mean, I see a lot of dent technicians that come that are motivated. I mean, we get a ton of people that come to our Mega Media event. You guys seen the last Mega Media event. It was massive. I mean, it was a huge turnout, bunch of great people. But one of the big things, these are really heavy, motivated entrepreneurs and businessmen that are meeting at these events. And a lot of people feel like they're just spinning in circles. They're just chasing their tail around day in and day out.
Yeah.
And this steps you out of that. And if you can even go one step further and get an accountability partner in your life, like somebody who you check in with and that you tell them what your most important task is and they keep you accountable, that's one step forward. These are hacks, guys. This is not weakness. This is you understanding your weaknesses and combining them with a strength. It's a hack. It's like a growth hack.
That's right, Daddy.
Yeah.
You dropped some really good stuff.
Well, I hope propelling into the new year, a lot of guys out there are considering I truly believe anybody who steps into this way of thinking, anybody who steps into a way of, giving massive amounts of increase. I don't care what you're doing. If you're doing dent removal, you're giving massive amounts of increase to the person that you're doing that dent removal for.
Yeah.
Because bottom line is their alternative was so much more painful than what you're delivering to them. And the key to that is, though, guys, I'm telling you, the biggest paradigm shift that I had to realize, especially when you're doing estimating, is focusing on the amount of value that you're adding to that person's life, that person's car. Focus on all the value that you're adding and then give them your quote. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on how much you're taking, because you're not taking anything away from anybody.
No.
You're adding to their life. You're adding to the value of their vehicle. In a sense, paintless dent removal in most cases is free.
Yeah.
I mean, really, are they paying any money? If they get 2 or 3 dings out of their vehicle, isn't the value that much more?
Yeah.
So that being said, I want you guys to start focusing on that when you're doing your estimate. It's a huge paradigm shift, and I truly believe it's the shift that's needed in this industry, because some people get a mental block. And I remember I used to have this mental block that I couldn't quote anybody over like $300.
Oh, really?
Years ago, yeah. When I first got into paintless dent removal, I had this mental block where I couldn't quote anybody like over $300 without feeling like, I was taking too much. Or they were going to say no because, anything over 300, we're getting close to their 500.
So what did you do to get yourself over that hump? Did you just do it and just see what happened?
What I did was I got so busy at one point that I just basically started quoting more to actually cut down on the amount of work that I had.
Yeah.
And basically double or triple my income.
Yeah.
So basically I started to get so busy that I started doing that. But it wasn't until later on in the future that I started shifting my mindset. I mean, I'm getting more money out of dent removal now than I've ever got, with much less pushback. So the times when I was quoting less money, I was getting much, it seems like, more pushback than now. And I truly believe, because you guys know it as well as I do, the moment that you're looking somebody in their eyes or you're writing them on the internet, I don't give a fuck what it is, if you feel like you're quoting too high and you feel that inside,
yeah,
like you're taking from them, then they feel that as well.
Yeah.
If you can actually convey the emotion of what the value that you're adding to their vehicle, you're going to land that deal almost every time.
Yeah.
There's the occasion where you just get the cheapo guy, somehow he slips into your whatever. I mean, you may even have to deal with that if you've done a lot of work for a lot of cheapos in the past, and then you switch, and then these guys are coming back to you, and then you're like, oh shit. Yeah. Like every time I get that email where some dude says he used me, 12 years ago, and he wants a quote, I already know it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I know right off the bat it's going nowhere, because my 12-year, he's probably expecting my 12-year ago price. Mm-hmm. And that's fucking 12 years ago.
That's right.
But that being said, like literally, guys, marketing at its core is basically you delivering emotion to the individual that's purchasing that service. Mm-hmm. So when you get in the habit of delivering increase and delivering value inside of your quotes, and you understand the value and the increase that you're giving to that person, and you deliver that message to them, you're going to be booking a lot more clients and customers because they feel that.
Yeah.
I think even Tony Robbins, he was coined saying something like 80% of what we say is literally based on our body language and our energy.
Yeah.
So that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. I want to tell you guys real quickly about the Dent Trainer sale. We're getting ready to go watch Jumanji, and Merry Christmas, because I know we're not going to hear from you until probably after the holiday. Jumanji. So, that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and bounce out of here. Dent Trainer, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to be opening up our sale. It's going to be going down from Christmas Day until New Year's Eve. And then on New Year's Eve, me and the missus here is going to stay up extra late. And at midnight, we're going to go live.
Well, first we got to watch the ball drop and kiss each other. And then
maybe we should just watch the ball drop and kiss each other live.
Oh, that would be special.
Ooh,
yeah,
right there on the Dent Trainer Facebook page.
Yeah, everybody can see us make out.
Well, I don't know if it'll be like that, but we are going to the movies, though.
No, we're not making out at the movies.
That's the best place ever. I'm going to do the Pee Wee Herman and put the hole in the bottom of my popcorn thing. Honk, honk.
That's disgusting.
Would you like some more popcorn, little lady?
No, I don't know that popcorn.
Put your hand in here for some more popcorn.
Are you serious? That's what Pee Wee Herman did?
I don't know. I know he did something. No, I think he was at like a legit jerk-off movie theater.
That's disgusting.
Who would go into them places?
I don't know. Can you imagine how sticky the floors are?
I guess if you were super horny and you had to go.
If you were super horny, why wouldn't you just take care of yourself at home?
Well, what if you were just, a couple blocks away or something? Couldn't make it.
No, it's probably because you got off on it. Like the thrill.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, that's
I don't give a fuck. I still like Pee Wee Herman. I grew up on Pee Wee Herman.
I did too, but, like, that stuff happens and you just can't look at him the
big
same.
foil bowl. My favorite.
Wait a minute, didn't he have something with the couch?
I don't know. Couchy?
It was a couch.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't fucking remember.
She can't remember shit.
Yes, I can. I've got good memory.
But anyhow, guys, Dent Trainer, we're going to be giving away one of them sweet-ass TDN mats, that thick foam mat.
Yeah.
We're going to be giving away a Endeavor, like a crown hammer that's really fucking cool. In fact, I was actually supposed to give that away during the grand finale Black Friday event and all that stuff, but I actually took it off and used it and laid it somewhere and didn't find it until after the whole giveaway. So we're going to be giving that away as well. We're also going to be giving away a small kit of Galexo with a full tube of Galexo glue. Yeah. We're going to be giving away a Gorilla Grip T-handle, and we're also going to be giving away a tactical big logo t-shirt.
Hey, why don't we do something? We need to tell everybody to write us some reviews, and we'll pick a review. And
there we go. All you guys who have not written reviews, we're going to start jumping on and picking reviews on the podcast. So at least once a month, we're going to be giving away T-shirts, other prizes, stuff like that. So we haven't had a review in a few months. We need you guys. I know y'all are listening. Our stats just keep on going up. So that being said, stop, drop, write a review. Let's do it.
Yeah, and who doesn't want a fucking tactical t-shirt? Them things are like badass.
They're badass. They are badass.
Yes.
So
for a gal that loves fashion, that tactical t-shirt is like, oh.
I know. And everybody who gets them, they just wear them all the time.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. Even my kid, he just wears it everywhere.
He does.
He wears them super comfortable.
Yeah.
The way they fit on you is like one of them ones where they just hug your arms real nice and tight, but yet they're loose on your body.
They make your chest muscles look really nice.
Yep, and you guys all know that when the pecs are popping, the panties are dropping. All right, everybody, appreciate you. Tactical Dent Tech Podcast peeps, we appreciate you. And as usual, we're going to see you on that next one.
Bang, bang.
What are you supposed to say?
I forgot it because I don't want to do It's All About the Hustle anymore. About something. I need to memorize it. It's like,
your vibe is your tribe.
There we go. Your vibe is your tribe.
Your vibe is your tribe.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on that next one.